to two of them on opposite sides of the argument. Lord Bilimoria, Karan Bilimoria, founder and chairman of Cobra Beer, and Christopher Nieper, managing director of the women's wear manufacturer David Nieper.
Good morning.
Good morning to you both.
Morning.
Lord Bilimoria, I'm assuming that you think no deal is a disastrous notion.
No deal would be the worst possible outcome. And I think when the public voted to leave, they didn't give the government a blank check to leave on any basis whatsoever. And if it were to be put to business, and quite frankly to the country, that we were to crash out on a no-deal basis to go to WTO rules, business, I know unanimously, well over 90% of business wants to remain, well over 90% of the young people in this country want to remain, and would say, well, on a pragmatic basis, yeah, we don't like the euro, we're not in it. We don't like Schengen, we're not in it. We don't want further unification. We don't want to be in a European army. But actually, on a pragmatic basis, we're far better off staying in the European Union the way we are. And they would prefer that. And they would say, much rather that than a no-deal situation.
Right, but in practical terms, as a man who leads a large business, what effect would it have on your business? Forget all the politics and all the rest of it. What effect would it have on your business if we had no deal in March of 2019?
In practical terms, it would be very difficult because we export Cobra from Brood and Burton-on-Trent to almost every country in Europe. We manufacture two of our products in Belgium and import from Belgium into the UK. So we
still do that.
We of course we can, but at the moment it's seamless. At the moment, the bureaucracy, the paperwork, it's absolutely wonderful to have access to this open market, let alone the exports we do around the world. If we suddenly have to have border controls and checks and documentation and the extra cost of import costs both ways, that makes our product less competitive.
All right.
It's going to be terrible.
Christopher Nieper, what about your fears or hopes?
Yes, look, we can't wait for government. In business, we have to plan and move ahead. For me, no deal is actually better than no idea. And I don't have any problem with no deal. In that scenario, which is where I think we are at the moment, we have to move to World Trade Organization tariffs. And I don't see that as a problem, really, because the kind of tariffs which we may face under WTO rules are dwarfed by the currency advantage which we've just been given. The currency has moved by about 15% in our favour, and that is really, really advantageous.
It can move the other way, of course.
It can, but if you look at the trend over the last year, it has moved only in one direction, and that makes British goods much, much more competitive.
Why don't you acknowledge that then, Lord Bilimoria?
So the currency effect, yes, of course it helps our exports on the one hand, but we as a country are a net importer. So from a consumer point of view, already the consumer is starting to take a hit. We supply 98.5% of the curry restaurants, the Indian restaurants in this country. They are taking a hit because a lot of their ingredients are imported. So it's not as simple as saying just for our export business, yes, it helps. But as a country, we're net importers. And also, we've got to remember, people keep forgetting our position in the world. It affects all our business over here. We're proud to be British. I'm proud to be a British manufacturer. But we're reliant on inward investment. Britain is the largest recipient of inward investment in the whole of Europe. And our position at the top table of the world is now hugely diminished already, let alone leaving the European Union.
And that would be a problem, wouldn't it, Mr. Nieper?
No, it depends how you see this. Is it really a threat or is it an opportunity? Is your glass empty or half full? Are we on a cliff edge or are we on a springboard? I think it's an opportunity.
Why? What are the opportunities in practical terms?
In the case of our business, any entrepreneur can see that there's always an opportunity. If sterling becomes more competitive, which is what it has done, then we start manufacturing in Britain, we stop complaining, and we get on with it before everybody else. So we have a head start. So what we're doing is we're bringing more of our supply chain into Britain. We're going to build another factory. We're going to open a new printing division. We're going to triple the size of our sewing academy. And we're also taking quite a radical approach to skills, because I think skills is the biggest challenge we face, far more than any tariff.
But you can do that, whether you're in the union or not.
We're already manufacturing over here. But let's look at what we're throwing away. We have 50% of our trade at our doorstep. Most countries deal with countries at their doorstep more than countries miles away. It's all right to say a Canada deal. I mean, Europe is 10% of Canada's business. Europe is 50% of our business, and indirectly through EU free trade deals, we have another 17% of deals around the world. Now we've got the Japan-EU free trade deal. So over 70% of our free trade deals already exist. Are we going to give all that up to go after the 30% where we may not even get any free deals at all?
Mr. Nieper?
Yes, we're not throwing anything away. The demand for British goods is very... No, we're not throwing anything away. We've asked all our sales offices in Europe, will Brexit make any difference? And unanimously they say no, it will make no difference at all, because consumers choose to buy what they choose to buy, regardless of whether Britain is part of a political union. And I can tell you that the demand for British goods is very, very strong, perhaps stronger than the government realise, and perhaps stronger than the CBI and other reports actually report. And the reason for that is we simply cannot keep up with the demand at the moment.
And there, I'm afraid, I know you'd like to come back, Lord Bilimoria, but we've run out of time. Thank you both very much.